I am a huge proponent for therapy. I have been in and out of therapy since 2016. It is absolutely one of the hardest but most rewarding things I have ever done for myself. Therapy brings out a lot of emotions. It's painful to relive great pain or heartache, brings out sadness or even anger. It never fails along your therapy journey. You become reactive and sometimes lash out at others. I myself have done it, and it's really hard to go through. Sometimes you hurt people that you are lashing out at. However, your reaction tells you exactly where you are in your healing journey. It doesn't tell you anything about that person you lashed out towards. Recently, Nonsense said publicly, and I quote, "Trust and believe my therapist knows everything that I do. You should hear what professionals think about your behavior, and if you think for 1 second my therapist hasn't seen clips of you guys, holy shit, you would be crushed at what professionals think." End quote. For starters, no, I absolutely would not be crushed. I am not thin-skinned. And you say you never watch most of us? Why are you having your therapist watch you claim you never watch? Come on now. And to be clear, this quote was not directed at me personally, but in all great nonsense fashion, as she usually does, really didn't direct it at anyone. This is called plausible deniability. Publicly bragging that a therapist is allegedly diagnosing strangers through YouTube clips. Yeah, that is a whole mess. It's like treating a serious profession as a prop for our online dramatics. Honestly, it's just gross. Personally, I don't care what Nonsense's alleged therapist would supposedly say about me, even if an actual assessment existed. Which it should not exist for myself or anyone on YouTube except for Nonsense. A licensed therapist cannot diagnose or evaluate individuals they have never personally assessed in person. I have my own therapist. I don't need yours. But thank you, Nonsense. I appreciate it. My therapist actually knows me, and that is the only licensed therapist opinion that actually matters to me. So please spare us all the faux therapeutic shock value that is spewing from your lips. I sincerely hope no one gives weight to these supposed third-party diagnoses because they're nothing more than dramatized storytelling with a cheap coat of baby poop green paint called "My Therapist Said So." Now let's get real about therapy. Therapy is messy, it's raw, it's uncomfortable, yet it's transforming. You break down what hurts and slowly rebuild something healthier. You unravel trauma, not strangers on the internet. What therapy is not is pretending to hand out diagnoses to random people like some YouTube game show. That's not therapeutic, that's theatrical. There's a huge difference between the two. I do not believe that her therapist actually diagnosed anyone. A real therapist would never jeopardize their career to do so. What seems far more likely is that she has a friend that is a therapist, or maybe she knows someone who played a therapist on an 80s sitcom that didn't make it past the pilot episode. The manipulation isn't in what the therapist supposedly said, it's in how she packaged the narrative like it was on clearance at the drama outlet. Nonsense has also implied for years that one of her subs is her so-called therapist. This is concerning in my opinion. I do believe this individual is someone who genuinely cares about Nonsense. I think she is someone who listens, offers support, maybe a virtual hug. I understand they may be friends and friends vent, or they trash talk. We all do that. However, it's becoming messy when you have clearly stated this person is your therapist and fail to differentiate you have a real therapist you see in person. Saying your therapist has thoughts and opinions of people is something that could destroy someone's career. This is confusing, messy, and your choices are potentially harmful to your friend, or if your therapist is a real person, it could be harmful to their careers. I hope both of these individuals will tell you absolutely not. Don't drag me into your circus. Your friend online, she absolutely deserves better than this. What therapy actually is? Therapy focuses on your insight, your reactions, your coping skills, your emotional work, and your healing. It is very you-focused. Therapy is not diagnosing strangers from clips, gossip, being a weapon to use towards your critics, a credential you pull out like an Uno reverse card. Real therapy has ethical boundaries. A real licensed therapist would never diagnose anyone they've never evaluated, period. They would never risk their reputation, their credibility, their career, just to prove online drama over who said what on YouTube. If the therapist actually is a real licensed therapist, then claiming they're diagnosing people online is an ethical dumpster fire. No responsible therapist is going to risk their license to weigh in on YouTube beef. If they are not a therapist, then using the title as leverage is misleading, manipulative, and makes therapy look like a prop from the Dollar Tree. Therapy is not a weapon, a clapback, a social media flex, a gotcha moment, or a credential to wave around. Therapy is about healing. It is not about diagnosing your critics. Why does this even matter? It matters because when you misuse therapy language, it makes real therapy look cheap. It hurts people who genuinely need help. It misleads people about what therapy looks like. In fact, it completely gives Penelope Lane vibes. A real therapist doesn't say, "Let me diagnose your YouTube enemies." A real therapist would say, "Let's focus on you. How did that make you feel?" Or, "What boundaries can you set?" So either someone is not a therapist, or someone is claiming something that could jeopardize an actual therapist career. Either way, it's not cute, not ethical, and not defendable. In closing, I really wish everyone could take a moment to reflect and understand this. When we're caught up in the moment, trying to drive a point home, when we want to be dramatic, loud, or absolutely certain people hear us, it is easy to forget the harm those moments can cause for others. When you aim to tear someone down, whether through their mental health, their trauma, their sexual assault, their addiction, or their recovery of such, or their experience with domestic violence, you're not just hurting the person you're talking about. You're hurting the people sitting right there in your own chat. They may never type a word. They may just sit there and listen in complete silence. But they hear every sentence, they hear every word, and they feel every blow. And for some of them, those wounds are not hypothetical. They are lived experiences. So when you rip someone's story apart, it can break something in them too. It's devastating, it's painful, and we can do better for each other.